One of my biggest problems as a judoka was always my cardio. I wasn't really able to sustain a longer training or sustain multiple randori session because my cardio wasn't good enough. Long time ago, I started with long steady state training in order to supplement my normal judo training with some extra cardio. So I was going out there 2-3 times a week and doing a long, easy run. So I was working in a zone 2 cardio, staying between 110, 150 beat per minute, so that I will condition my heart and my cardiovascular system to better withstand the demands of my sport. And actually, it helped me a lot doing some zone 2 cardio. It helped me to improve my VO2 max, it improved my recovery, it improved also my cognitive function. It's strange, but also improving your heart, your lungs, your cardiovascular system in general doesn't only help your physical condition, but also you feel more sharper on a mental level. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's actually how I felt after start doing some VO2, zone 2 cardio. But in lately, I've seen that doing steady state cardio wasn't really doing that much. So I needed to supplement that with some more specific conditioning for my sport. So I started doing some tabatas, some interval training to supplement what I was already doing. What have I done in order to create this protocol to improve my conditioning? I used an assault bike at this time, and the first thing that I've done, as you would do with strength training, is to calculate your 1 rep max. What do I mean by that? If you don't have an idea of what your 1 rep max for your squat, for example, is, you cannot really prescribe any efficient load for your training. Do you get what I'm saying? If you don't know what is your 1 rep max, your 100% for your squat, you cannot prescribe your 70% back squat submaximal training. You cannot really prescribe a 5x5 at 80% of your 1 rep max. It's not really a thing. You cannot really prescribe anything if you don't have a 1 rep max for your strength training. The same thing is for your cardio. I would say it's even more important when you're working to improve your cardio. So what I've done was, first of all, to calculate my maximal aerobic speed on the assault bike. How do you calculate your max aerobic speed? Well, you take a 6-minute timer and you aim to perform as much distance as possible in that 6-minute time frame. If you have a decent assault bike, after you take the setting, you set the timer at 6 minutes and you aim to go as far as you possibly can on that assault bike. Then, once you've finished and you really pushed yourself to do that, this is approximately your 1 rep max for cardio. I will try to explain that as easy as possible. This is your 100%. From there, you can now start to have a good approximation of what a good stimulus for your cardio look like. One parameter that is important and that I personally used is the average rep per minute during the 6-minute test. So it's basically how much reps you're doing with the assault bike in the 6-minute time frame, how much you're doing. And this is an approximation of the kind of effort that you need to do in order to reach your VO2 max, which is the maximum amount of oxygen that your body utilizes during a certain activity. And so I worked on the aerobic threshold. I find out that my average rep per minute on the assault bike on the maximum aerobic speed test was 66. So this was my 100%. From there, I started doing some Tabata protocols. Tabata, which means 20-second work, 10-second rest per 8 rounds. And then you take full recovery between one set and the other. So I was doing 20-second work, 10-second rest for 8 rounds for 3 to 4 sets or times. And how can you dose that? How can you dose how much strong you need to go? Because if you go really strong, you will do like the first 2 3 rounds maximum, then you will completely gas out and you won't be able to continue the workout. So what I would advise you to do is take your average rpm during your maximal aerobic speed test. In my case it was 66, and add 10 to 20% to it. For example, I will put that as simple as I possibly can. I've done 66 average rep per minute on the 6 minute test on the maximal aerobic speed. So I need to add 6 to 12 reps to it as a goal during my workout. So I need to aim at 72 to 78 rep per minute during my intervals. Hope that was clear. So you need to do 110, 120% more than your average RPM during the maximal aerobic speed test. So what that will actually do is it will give a stimulus to your aerobic system to tolerate these higher intensities. And this also translates very well to judo, because in judo you have really short bursts of activity and some rest, because at a certain point the referee will call mate and you need to stop. You have this little time to rest, and then you will go back at a very high intensity, because actions in judo are pretty short but very explosive, very intensive. And this is a very good conditioning workout that I will advise you to try during your own workouts. By the way, I'm also a physical therapist. I'm studying to become a strength and conditioning coach. And if you need some help in your judo journey, if you find this information useful, please let me know that with a comment. Let me know what are your problems and how can I solve that for you. And that's it. Hope that was useful. Remember to aim upward as always.